The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. Mitch, let's jump right into it, man. CES 71, you return after a few obstacles this year, man. Some fights that didn't go through. Flavio Carvalho, he's much older, more experienced. Outside of that, what do you think of him in the matchup?
I think my coach told me he's a black belt on the ground, which I feel like really doesn't mean much. I mean, the last guy I fought was a brown belt. And I roll with high level guys all the time, so that's not really. I mean, obviously something I'm paying attention to, and I'm really focusing on my grappling, but kind of gonna keep it more of a stand up fight. Do what I do. I know I'm well rounded. I can take the fight anywhere. Go out there, do what I do best, and I know that the knockout will come.
Let's go deeper into the black belt thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's a lot of guys that are black belts now. A lot of guys are black belts now, and in MMA, it's a little bit different, right? When you start to mix in the wrestling and just sequences on the ground without the gi and all of that stuff. Do you roll in the gi?
I mean, I wish I did more, to be honest with you, because I actually like it. Like I've done it a handful of times, like probably in the last 10 years that since I started training. But just because MMA is just so like kind of like it's just no gi is more like what I'm saying. A lot of the like even guys like George St. Pierre in his prime, like he never wasn't really training in the gi, and you'll hear that a lot. Even a guy like Frankie Edgar's has said that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that kind of like no gi is really what you need. Gi is definitely transfers really well, especially with your defense and things like that. So I wish I did it more, but not really. It's more because I do a lot of live goes, a lot of wrestling. Like I said, no gi rounds, takedowns to you know what I'm saying, takedowns right to jiu-jitsu, kind of mixing it up. That's more I that's usually the type of rounds I'm doing.
So do you feel like it's helpful though? Like, a lot of guys say that they do balance their training with the gi, but it seems like MMA fighters have so much to do that it's like there's not much time to roll in the gi.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I wish I mean every training spot depends obviously on the schedule and things like that. Like for example, I train at Regiment Training Center. Like a lot of the classes kind of like they overlap and things like that. So like I do more of like the kickboxing pro team and definitely in between fights I want to do it more because like I said I do want to rank up. Eventually I do want to be a black belt in the gi. And I know I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time to do it, but I definitely wish I did it more. But
Yeah,
it
of
definitely
course.
helps 100%. It slows things down. You can definitely work on your defense. Like you can't really get away with things like I come from a wrestling background and I'm very just like explosive and I'm trying to move very fast and in the gi you can't really do that. It kind of slows you down.
Oh, so I guess if you do have, like you said, a wrestling background, it does help you to kind of control yourself and not rely on that power, the
Yeah.
explosive power as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, you focus on the technique, you slow things down and everything becomes a lot more technical because a lot of like especially like I said I'm like very like guilty of it. Uh
Mhm.
especially like, coming up I would just kind of like explode and try to get to positions with just like my wrestling and my like athleticism.
Now, if you look at your opponent's last like 7 fights, man, he's had like very mixed results. It's all over the place. Have you gone back and watched any of those fights?
Uh nah, to be honest, not really. I'm kind of just like I'm more just focused on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like went
Mhm.
out to Vegas for this camp just to get like clear my mind and just getting that. I know I belong in the UFC, but it's just been a tough year for me, mentally and kind of just like rebounding, just injuries, and I really feel like I'm hitting my stride right now. I just you know what I'm saying turned 24. There's no better time for me to get signed to the UFC, and I'm not really paying too close attention to him. I kind of know what he does, and
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying he's 7-4. He's got a good record. You know what I'm saying? I think he has 6 finishes. But I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna treat him like he's 7-4.
Does that make this camp a lot different? You know what I mean? Not like focusing on your opponent. Have you always been doing that, or is this something new?
Uh, I mean, I feel like just like with time, you just get more confident in your belief. And like I said, I've had a lot. I mean, I just turned 24, but I got a lot of experience, especially you know, not the most positive experiences, but those kind of experiences almost are even better for you because them, you know, what I'm saying you're gonna get that much more mentally tough. Like I've competed at the highest level. I've been right there, just winning and getting signed. But I'm making these little mistakes in these fights, like little mental errors
Mhm.
that you just can't make at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? I think people, if you're smart and you know what you're looking at, I think everybody can kind of see that. And that's up to me to fix, right? So that's what I've been focused on. Really, you know what I'm saying, doing a lot of those rounds. You know what I'm saying? I worked a lot with, you know what I'm saying, your good buddy, Frank Hickman, a lot on the
Yeah.
show. And that's what something he told me, especially after the contender series fight. I got to live in that kind of like the cage work and things like that. And And I just went out to Vegas. Definitely something I've improved on and I've focused on.
So the Vegas trip, outside of the wrestling and where you work, and was there anybody in particular that you were seeking out there?
I mean, I trained at Extreme Couture, so you got to see like this gym is just obviously, of course, with the PI and stuff. Extreme Couture is absolutely one of the top gyms in the world. You've seen Eric Nixick is an absolute, I'm saying, genius. The shit he's doing. It's the guy, the type of work that you get is just, it's something. Like I said, I have really high level coaches, and I really believe in my team and at Regiment Training Center, and definitely that's where I came up. But obviously, it's good to get different looks and get different bodies. And every single guy I went with was in the UFC, right? So I got rounds with Amir Albazi, Cody Stamen. I'm saying Patchy Mix was probably some of the best work I've ever gotten, like in my career training. Like he pushed me, I'm saying, to like a whole. That guy is an absolute beast. Damon Blackshear, like I went with another stud out there. He's only 1-0, but he's a stud. He's a stud. Kobe Fair, like he's an absolute beast. So I just got like a different type of work that I'm saying, and I thrive in that kind of environment, and I love that's kind of I just like I feed off of that energy. So being out there, man, it was kind of more just for my mental like a reset to remind myself, hey, like this is what I'm fighting for. That's the type of lifestyle I'm saying I want. I'm saying I want to be at the top of the sport, training and fighting amongst the best in the world. So because it was more just for my mental.
Yeah, it seems like guys from your team, they do that now more. Like they do go out to Vegas and mix it up a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people look at that and like, oh, you're gonna leave, but it's not like that. It's like getting new looks. Like you said, you got so many different body types out there.
Yeah, I mean, I love Vegas. Like I've been a few times. Like I said, I obviously I lived there for a little bit, obviously with the show and stuff, and I've been there for the Contender, and I went a couple times with Robin Calvin when I was like 18, 19. So I love it there. So I definitely, especially when I get signed, the Performance Institute it's a no brainer. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not using that and you're in the UFC, like that's what every single UFC fighter tells
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? Cody Stamen, Amir Albazi, of course Robin Calvin. They go out there all the time. Like that's just if you're not taking advantage of that, it's just I don't know. It's kind of pointless. So I definitely will be going out to Vegas a lot, especially when I get signed.
For sure. Last September, man, you were supposed to fight and then you got pulled from the fight. What exactly happened?
Yeah, no, I'm happy you brought that up. Just because there's definitely some stuff to like clear up. And
Yeah.
I tried getting that fight rescheduled. That's one thing that Tyson knows, CES knows. I tried to get that fight rescheduled, and he ended up taking another fight, and he ended up losing. So like it's all the shit that he was talking, and it absolutely was my fault. Yeah, it was just kind of a weight cutting issue. I started the camp. I was probably like I said, I don't walk like I used to. When I was an amateur, I could walk. I was probably 140, 145. I just started the camp really heavy. I was probably like 160. And I thought I could do, because for the Contender Series fight, I cut a lot of weight for that. And I was good. But just something happened this time where I wasn't, maybe, I don't know, I was just messing up a little bit with when I cut the water. I cut the water out way too soon. And then my body kind of just shut down. I stopped sweating. Like 2 weeks out, I was probably like 100. I was like 149, like 2 weeks out. And he said something like somebody said I was 137 the week before. I was 137 probably the Wednesday, like the day it happened when, I'm saying, I got pulled, and then I just couldn't compete. I'm saying my coaches just thought it wasn't the right idea to compete. And I'm in such a crucial time in my career. I'm saying I've never had a cut go that bad. It was pretty scary. I'm saying, and I'm definitely taking my nutrition and things like that. At 125, I'm not a small flyweight anymore. I'm saying I push. I'm saying probably over the heaviest I've gotten is like 163. And I'm not really like a fat kid. Like it's not like I'm not, saying gaining like heaps of fat and I got a gut and all that shit. Like that's not how I look when I'm 160 pounds. So I'm definitely just some adjustments. And I just turned 24. It's not as easy as it used to be. And just taking things a lot more, just being a little more of like a professional. My weight's good right now. I mean, I'm within striking distance of making the weight, so I'm ready to go.
It's good that you have people around you that's gonna look out for your health. You know what I mean? Because some fighters, they don't listen to their coaches, so they'll just go with the cut, or their coaches don't. They're not like, I guess they don't have the power to tell the fighters like stop. And then next thing there's some big problems. There could be a lot long lasting effects, man, if you go on with the cut. I just saw something recently over the weekend in Abu Dhabi about one of the fighters that was cutting, and yeah, they fainted like 3 times. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's scary shit.
yeah, no, 100%. And it's definitely like I said, it's completely my fault. And I felt like an absolute, you know what I'm saying? Trust me. Nobody was more mad at myself than I was. And but it's just you live and you learn. You gotta move on. You gotta forgive yourself, move forward. Stay, you know what I'm saying? Don't listen to the noise, fuck the noise. You know what I'm saying? And I know who I am, come back big and shut everybody up. That's just what it is, Kelly. You know what I'm saying? I broke my hand in the summer, I couldn't fight. I was itching for that belt. Because then he ends up fighting, I think he fought for LFA, and somebody told me that he got like 30-26, like taken down and just wrote out. Like, it just pissed me off because I'm the one who took that opportunity for myself. You know what I'm saying? I could have did that to that kid on my worst day, and I knew that going into the fight. I was probably the most banged up I've ever been for a fight going into that fight. You know what I'm saying? I had like 3 broken toes. I had like plantar fasciitis. I tore my shoulder in high school. My shoulder was fucking acting up. Like, that was one of the worst camps I've ever had. And I was like, nah, fuck it. Like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fight. And I couldn't run. A lot of that I feel like was why I was a little bit heavier too, because I couldn't do a lot of live work. I couldn't run, and just the amount of weight I'm cutting, you got to be dialed in. Everything's got to be good. So that, you know what I'm saying, that was a fuck up on my part.
Man, that your foot was jacked the fuck
Yeah, no,
up.
I had 3 broken toes. Then I ended up getting like plantar fasciitis, where like Donna Cruz talks about that. Is like, it's like a tendonitis, and you like feel like I could barely walk. That shit was awful. You know what I'm saying? And but I was like, I knew I could beat the kid with just the way he lost recently. I heard he lost. I knew I could have did that to that kid on my worst day. You know what I'm saying? And become the world champion, CES, and I'm the one who took the opportunity for myself. So that shit pisses me off. But hey, on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Get a big finish here, make a statement, and all that shit goes away anyway.
What do you see as a finish? Just like you said earlier, just a knockout. Is that what you're looking at? Is that what you envision?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there and like look for it. I want to break them down. You know what I'm saying? Kind of show people the level that I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I wouldn't mind submitting them, hurting them, you know what I'm saying, going to the ground, submitting them, because I know I could do that. But I would love, you know what I'm saying, a nice viral knockout. That's something I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Take my time. You know what I'm saying? Set him up, and let's see what he gives me.
Are you looking at fighting for the title and getting the title first and then getting signed by the UFC? Or are you looking at just getting another shot at the Contender Series? Like, what do you see in your future?
The way I see it, I want Tyson told me, you know what I'm saying, it's not, like I said, the belt is great. And if I got off of that, I would, you know what I'm saying, 100%. But I also heard Dana's going to Boston looking for a fight. Okay. So, I don't understand. I get a big finish here. I don't understand who else would be on that card. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of New England. You know what I'm saying? Fight in front of Dana for the 3rd time. Fucking redemption. Make things right. Get signed. Yeah. That's right now. I'm focused on November, though. I'm focused on 3 weeks from now, taking this guy out, getting a big finish, and I could get signed right after that. I just feel like as long as I stay ready, my name's gonna be thrown in a hat, and you don't know when the fucking number is gonna be called, so you better be ready.
Definitely, man. You are definitely one of the top prospects out there in the U.S. November 17th, CES 71, Twin River Casino. If you want to know more, go download the AllStar app in the descriptions. Mitch, appreciate the time, man. And yeah, all the best, man. You're still super young. So, but I like the confidence, though. I love the confidence, man. I like it.
Yeah, I gotta come back big, man.